change in political climate or that where a trip has to be canceled,
Right.
what does cancellation look like? So,
The end of the cancellation insurance.
Right.
David, where it's happening at the end of the school year, why is the school being asked to
I was
sponsor?
gonna ask the same thing.
well, it's because the planning will go on during the school year, and we're also involving teachers in this plan.
Recently, I don't know if you're following on the listserv, there was some hubbub about it would happen in
Yes.
another state.
Right.
Do we cover the staff and any chaperones with any kind of liability?
No, that question actually, Mrs. O'Brien, who is the international advisor and has been involved in planning the exchange program, first she took over for me in terms of Nicaragua, and then now with a private school in Mexico. We have exchanges going on annually. She actually forwarded that to me when it came out last week, and I told her that we would do some legal review on that.
Because if I recall correctly, school committee members were named in for approving the trip, as well as chaperones and the school department.
That's true. On any kind of excursion, and you have a policy that says any excursion outside of Massachusetts, overnight, greater than 120 miles, where students and staff are involved. That's why it comes to the school committee. So you could be liable for, even with the best kind of planning, a band trip that goes to Maryland, or the baseball team going to staying overnight at Cape Cod or anything like that. By your approval, you are saying that the rules, the policies of the school committee are going to extend on that trip.
And I'm also telling parents that I think these 3 teachers are capable of making sure that your kids are totally safe, an accident won't happen. As committee members, we're not insured, should we be sued?
No, you would be, you would be covered by the town's
We are covered,
indemnification.
okay.
And that's another reason why any employee who is involved in this would be covered under town's insurance.
Okay.
For, you're indemnified. Now, obviously, if there's a gross act of negligence on the part of anyone, then that coverage would not be extended.
That's when we lean on you to tell us these are 3 capable adults taking the kids to Europe.
Well, then, when I'm bringing it to the committee, that's.
Yes.
So they're saying it'll be a 6-to-1 student to chaperone ratio, so they're gonna limit this to 18 students, or if more want, will they have more potential chaperones, do you know?
Right now, these are the 3, because this is after school, these 3 teachers have made a commitment, so it would be limited to 18. Now, again, if there was an overwhelming response, I'm sure the 3 of them would look at how they might secure other chaperones, be it, a non-teacher parent and so forth, which we've done as well for various trips.
And then would that parent chaperone be covered under liability?
As a volunteer, I believe they would be if it's an approved program. But again, that recent case was brought to my attention, and I told Mrs. O'Brien that we would pass it through school committee attorney to get a legal opinion.
I would hate to
Well,
hesitant to vote on.
Well, it'd have a chilling effect on any kind of travel
Right.
if we assume that. Again, your policy, the school committee's policy is overnight, an excursion out of state, or a greater distance of 120 miles, which I think the 120 miles takes you outside of the borders of Massachusetts in any direction.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
I'm saying as presented, so that if
6-to-1.
student to chaperone ratio should shift,
Right.
it would have to come back.
Or would we have to approve additional chaperones, or do we leave that to David's discretion, I would guess?
Well, they are, you would probably already have to like run through the query check
Right.
system.
Right.
Well, the system, the minimum number is 10 by
Right,
our
10 to 1.
policy, but I think given that this is international travel, although going to Mexico, we work on the 10 to 1 ratio. I think also the cost is substantially higher.
Yes.
I mean, in Mexico,
Very high.
all boarding is done in private residences.
Right.
So you're not dealing with meal costs, you're not dealing with any kind of accommodation. It really comes down to airfare.
I have a number of concerns about it. One of them is that it seems like it might very easily be pretty discriminatory because there'll be a number of people who won't be able to cough up $3,200 to go on this. And in 9 days, there's a couple of those days that go away for travel. So you're really looking at 7 days. 7 days experience is that worth the risk and all associated with it for kids that are in the 9th through 12th grade? Those are all, who knows, I guess. I think we're looking at, maybe you can give us some guidance on that, but I frankly am a little bit concerned about the liability, just the whole risk issue of it. It seems pretty high for what the kid's going to actually get out of it.
Well, you certainly raise questions, good questions about any kind of travel at all. And it always comes down to what is the education, at least in my mind, what is the educational value, number one. The cost certainly is a huge question for anyone. I think in terms of the liability, this new court case, again, we need some legal guidance on it. However, I do believe that we are covered as long as it's a school-sponsored trip, that it will be covered by liability insurance, covered by the town. I think if it's a question on the benefit, I think any kind of travel is beneficial to students, particularly if that travel is to a place where they're not likely to travel on a regular basis. So, for example, not to be critical, but I've never supported the Disney trip because of what I consider to be not the apparent value to that, other than it's a trip for seniors at the end of the school year, or the end of their senior year. The cost for that, I want to say, is in the vicinity of $700 for what is a 3-day, amounts to a 3-day weekend to Disney. And so this is a pretty selected experience for students who are looking to expand their global awareness, traveling in a foreign country, and seeing a place that they're not likely to have seen before. I think the cost is high, but then again, we're seeing any kind of air travel is certainly extremely expensive. And so the question is, are there other alternatives? And that I don't have a good answer to that at this point.
When was it? We regularly had trips to France, didn't we? Was that under Ms. Baumgartner?
No, Ms. Baumgartner, I think, talked about a trip. A number of years ago, Ms. Morano Mrs. Jourdain,
Yes,
who was a
that's
French
right.
teacher, actually on a regular basis took students to France. We probably about 8 years ago, Mr. Alvarado took students to Spain. And under the same kind of arrangements.
There was a time when they would alternate, 1 year France and 1 year Spain. My daughter took the trip to Spain, and even though they do move at a fast pace and they see all the sights in under a week, moving at a fast pace keeps them out of trouble and tired at night. So, but she did come back with an experience that she wouldn't have anywhere else. And the way the trip was run, and I would hope that they would do something similar with this trip, is they're just not like tourists moving around through different museums. They actually have a plan and a focus and certain things they're going to see and information they're gathering, and they summarize it. So there was a real, deliberate academic point to the trip. I would hope that's, included in this. They shouldn't just be tourists.
Right. I share some of Mr. Bauer's concerns. The class is a concern, although I look at this as more of an opportunity for some kids that it's kind of like an extra opportunity versus, I was always concerned about the Disney thing because it was like we were excluding a large portion of the senior class, kids who just couldn't, afford $700 for, as David said, a long weekend in Disney. I look at this as almost optional, where you're going to have kids that really want to go, and you're going to have parents that are going to have to tell those kids to come up with some of the money to go on this trip. I share some concern with the liability, but knowing the chaperones, I have confidence in these three people.
This year, there's a program that I'm exploring for our district to participate in, and it's called Pathways to China. But Reading is involved, Reading High School. In fact, a group from Reading High School traveled with their teachers to China this year. So you're seeing a number of schools have been involved in international travel for extended period of time.
So that was students went to China during the school year?
April vacation.
Yeah. That's a long trip to go for a week. So we have a motion. Do we have a motion by
I did
Mrs.
make a
Baca and
motion.
Mrs. Davis seconded? Do we have any other questions or?
No, I just have,
Concerns?
I really don't have a concern about liability in general. No, I'm worried about the cost. Worked it out, if you save over 40 weeks, you have to save $80 a week.
That's a lot of money.
For this trip, which is a lot of money on a typical salary that
High school kid.
a high
Yeah.
school kid can earn. So I would love to get updates on how the fundraising is going.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And they're gonna have to do better than bake sales
Right.
to raise this kind of money. Or what, 18 students? So,
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 3 to 1.
Yeah.
Mr. Bowers. Okay, next we have, Dr. Cho, would you like to address the Hood School principal?
Yes. Dr. Katsos, who has been the principal of the Hood School for the last 5 years, has accepted a position in New Hampshire. She and her family reside in New Hampshire, and I think the primary purpose is to return. She was, of course, a teacher in New Hampshire at the start of her education career, and also served as an assistant principal for several years in Exeter, New Hampshire. And so she has accepted a position in an elementary school principalship in